friends from high school.
Okay.
They're still alive.
So who were your friends in high school, and what ones do you still know, and how are they different from what they were back then?
Kay Weidenthal,
Mm-hmm.
Kay Boyd. How is she different?
Or is she?
Pardon?
Or is she?
No, I don't think she really is, but I know more about her now, her personality. You don't put this in there, but she's a Trumpite,
Mm-hmm.
So I stayed away from that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She still lives in Highland Heights in Cleveland.
So who were your group of girlfriends in high school?
I had a friend that lived across the street that went to Beaumont, the girls' school. But in my class, there was a bunch of us. Trying to think of it. We were such a small class that we were kind of friends with everybody, We only had 57 people in our class.
So what people did you remain friends with over time?
Most of them I was in contact with because I did a lot of fundraising, and I called them just about every year. I knew what was them.
Mm-hmm.
One of them was Sherry Lou Stouffer
Mm-hmm.
from Stouffer Brothers.
And there was Gwill. I know you've mentioned her.
Yeah.
So what's her full name again?
It was Gwill Lindemy. Then she married, and it was Gwill York, and she divorced, and it was Gwill Newman when she died.
Mm-hmm.
But she was head of the Brain Research Foundation at the University of Chicago on mental disease.
And you've mentioned
brain research she did.
You've mentioned some. I've heard you mention Nanette, right? Isn't that?
Oh, Natalie Moore.
Natalie.
Yeah, she was Natalie Moore. Then she became Natalie Babbitt. Then she wrote Tuck Everlasting, among a few other books she wrote.
Mm-hmm. So
she was my classmate.
You've mentioned her. Now, who did you hang around with mostly on a school day, or who would you see after school?
Well, I didn't see many people after school because we weren't like the neighborhood school. We were all separated around, and the kids that lived in Shaker Heights within walking distance of school lots of times got together, but I was so far from anybody that I went to school with that I didn't see them after school particularly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. We were kind of a loose group. We weren't real cliquish,
Yeah, because I know over time you talk about Kay, and we visited her. You've talked about Gwill.
Well, and then Lois Mueller Ralston.
She was at Dad's that luncheon.
Yeah.
When Dad died, right?
Yeah, and Jane Watt Shepard was there too. She came in later though.
Mm-hmm.
There was a few of us that came in real early and were together for years.
Kay being one of those.
No, Kay came in later on.
Yeah.
Because she went to school with your dad in Hudson.
When did she come to Laurel?
8th or 9th grade.
Oh, okay.
And then
Who did you know the longest at Laurel?
A gal who's since passed on. Her name was Sally Belden, and then it was Sally Belden Yost. She's the first person I saw when I went into the 4th grade room at Laurel. She said, here's some pencils. I'll show you where we sharpen the pencils. That's the first thing she said to me. I remember that.
Well, and I remember you talking about a Sally Yost.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
She died of cancer very rapidly.
And then there were some Filipinos or
Chinese. Mainland Chinese.
Twins or something?
They were sisters.
Sister, okay.
One of them lives in Malibu and married a Chinese doctor and has lived in Malibu for years. The other one lives, her sister lives in Manila. She married a fellow from the Philippines and moved there. But they sat back behind me for the 2 years they were at Laurel. And I'd help them a lot. They'd get stuck on translations of stuff.
They were only there for 2 years?
Yes, what happened is their father was part of Chiang Kai-shek's regime. And when the communists came in, they had to get out. So her father knew somebody in Cleveland who said, send them to us, and I've got a school they can go to. So that's how they came to us the last 2 years of school.
And who were they?
Connie and, what was her maiden? I know Connie's name is Connie Mao, M-O-W, and she's the one who lives in Malibu. I forget who the name of the one that her sister married.
They don't go to the reunions?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
No, they never have.
So
The only one that came back from a long ways was one girl who was only there a couple of years in the dorm, Ann Meredith, and she was from Australia.
Oh, wow.
And she came back a couple of times.
So you would say probably Gwill and Kay and
Lois.
and Bobby.
Yeah, Bobby Eggert,
Yeah.
She was a good friend.
So Bobby and Kay, those are the ones I see in recent years that you were most
Right.
connected to. Yeah. Did any of those other people change in some way that you found unusual from what you thought of them in high school?
Well, of course, Bobby ended up with Alzheimer's. And we could tell for quite a few years there was something wrong. Then it manifested itself as Alzheimer's. But her mother had died of that.
Wow.
The tendency is hereditary.
Okay. Well, that's it for that question.